For this project, you're going to use an 18 by 24 inch sheet of drawing paper and graphite pencils to draw the interior of a room from observation. In your drawings, include at least one corner of the room. Now that we've covered the theory of linear perspective, we will put it into use in this observational drawing. Remember the things we have learned already in the course about line and composition. Take a few moments to find a composition that you are happy with. Here's a tip: do some thumbnail sketches on a separate piece of paper or in your sketchbook. I decided to draw this corner of my bathroom. Notice that I used the rule of thirds to place the corner of the room along that right third line. I'm also avoiding having objects touch the edges of my composition, but rather have some space or fall off, most noticeably on the corners of the sink. I can also make edits in my mind. I'm not a huge fan of the metal basket in the bottom left corner, so I'll leave it out. Now, all the drawings will be different, but I'll walk you through the steps I used in my drawing of my room. I mentioned the corner of the room being an anchor point of my composition, lining up in the right third of the page. So I'll start there, by drawing the entire length of the wall. Even though I won't be able to see the entire wall, I'm just sketching and placing objects for now. I also threw in a perpendicular line to note where the halfway point of my page is. This will help me place objects more accurately. Remember to keep these sketching lines light enough to erase. From here, I started placing the largest objects in the room. I used those lines noting the corner of the room and the center of my paper to help place my sink and mirror. I know I'll be using 2-point perspective for the sink because the corner of the sink is closest to me as a viewer. If you're looking at a corner of a cube, you will need to consider 2-point perspective. If you're viewing a plane of an object closest to you, you will use 1-point perspective. Once I have a rough idea of where these objects are placed, I will go back and use sighting to determine if my angles are accurate. In these drawings, the vanishing points will be way off your pages, so rather than using a straight edge and connecting points like you did in your linear perspective exercise, you will just think about the logic of linear perspective and sight the angles. After I'm set with the angles of the largest objects, I will begin sketching in the rest of the objects in the room. Again, I decided to edit out that black basket in the bottom left corner for the sake of my overall composition. Since I know how linear perspective works, I can imagine what the rest of the corner would look like if that basket wasn't there. Then, repeat the process of using sighting to check the angles in the drawing. At this point, I decided to clean up my sketch. I used a pen, a digital pen tool, for clarity for this demo. You can simply continue using your graphite pencils and erasers to clean up your sketch. At this point, we are still working with only line. There's no value. You can see I used a bit of implied line for the basin of the sink. I added details to the frames reflecting in the mirror and some key elements to the soap bottle and faucet. Also notice I don't have all the details yet, like the bristles on the hairbrush. I'm working from simple to complex, giving myself flexibility to continue to make edits until the final stages of the drawing. Here's another tip: take a moment to take a step back from your drawings periodically. It's really easy to get tunnel vision. Prop up your drawing and take a few steps back to look and view your work at each stage. Also, breaks are good. If you step away for a few minutes, you can return to your drawing with fresh eyes. Next, I added the brick pattern to the back wall, adjusting the angle as the horizontal lines go above and below my eye line. Right now, my drawing is 1 line weight, but varying line weights can be a technique you utilize in your drawings. From here, my drawing is pretty well established, so I'll continue to add smaller objects and details until I'm happy with the final drawing.